Okay, so I was actually going to go into the store, to Dollar Tree, and I didn't go into the store. I started sitting in my car, and I remembered that I had a proposal that I needed to send to someone that I reached out to about offering services to their facility. And it just hit me like, this is the proposal. You need to do the price plan. Okay, you have videos already of the service that you're offering. So go ahead and download those videos. And I was going to send it as an email. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to send it as an email. I want to send it as a PowerPoint. Like, I want to make it a offer that this person can't refuse. I know that the pricing is good. I know that the business model has already been tested and proven is something that I can do. And then it also maybe, well, it's funny. I ended up having to go to the bathroom. So that's a little piece about procrastination. That I stayed in the parking lot so long working on that. I was like, oh, I can't go to the Dollar Tree. I need to go to a restroom. So now I'm headed home. But procrastination is just an interesting thing because it's not that you're lazy. It's not that you don't know how to do what you're going to do. But sometimes, like, I know for me in business, I will get like excited about the idea of something that I'm going to do. And I will, do it, and then maybe go tell somebody about this thing I'm going to do. And then like the excitement and the urgency sometimes dissipates. And so in this case, I made the phone call maybe about a month ago. I didn't say anything about it because somebody else had called me, basically asking me to do the same thing. And I was like, okay, so this is the market for my company, for something that I offer. I'm like, okay, so let me call some other people in that field and see if they're also interested. So I started doing essentially these cold pitches. And for a lot of people, I didn't get an answer. But this one person, it took her about a month to get back to me. And so she called me and she actually seemed really excited about, what my offering was. And she's like, well, I'm going to get my budget for the spring programming. So go ahead and send me what you have. And it's funny because people will swear that they have like the game plan of how to do everything and how things should be done. But entrepreneurship is really a day by day type thing. Like, you're not always going to be motivated. You're not always going to get it right. But sometimes you got to get a little stricter on yourself about procrastination, because I can say that at least this week there were 3 people who called back to me, and I was surprised. I was like, oh, I'm procrastinating. Like, I thought that was a lead that I lost, because sometimes you just have so much on your mind when you are doing this entrepreneurship thing. You're doing everything. You are the marketer. You are the face of your company. Especially if you don't have anybody working for you. Like, I don't have somebody working for me for most of the stuff that I do. It's just me. And it just makes me just be grateful, because I do live a life where, I get to choose entrepreneurship, from being a hairstylist to offering paint parties to getting to leverage some of the organizations that I work with, and working on their projects. Yeah. Like today, I had a client that actually came into the salon, and he was telling me that he's like, it's divine intervention. Because if you don't know, I also run a podcast studio. He had this idea for a podcast, for a food truck, and for some other things that he wanted to do. And it's funny because I felt like, not that, because I think I was probably younger than him, not that I was mentoring him, but that like the words that were coming out of my mouth to him to encourage him were also encouraging me. And sometimes it's on your spirit already. Like, you know what you need to do. And sometimes you just gotta get at it. You gotta beat off that procrastination monster with a stick. But don't beat yourself up when you are not always on it, because everything does happen in God's timing. But never doubt your capabilities. When I think of all the jobs that I've had, every job no job was ever wasted. No time was ever wasted. I feel like I took bits and pieces from all of those jobs to get me to where I am now. To where someone asked me to do a proposal, and you can take this back to high school when you're learning to do PowerPoint presentations. And when I was in high school, Canva wasn't a thing, but then learning how to use Canva, working in digital marketing, learning how to use AI for certain things to streamline certain things, price structures, and then just learning to open your mouth and speak and how to talk to people and not be nervous. You're like, these people aren't going to want to work with me. Like, never count yourself out because you just don't know what it is. And like, when you least expect it, like, I've paid money to advertise stuff and it's gotten me nowhere. And then, you know what is the thing that gets me the contact that I need? Word of mouth. It might be Google. It's like stuff may not work immediately, but you're like leaving breadcrumbs for people to find you piece by piece, and then you just learn as you go. Like I told my client today, I was like, procrastination is just like, I forget whatever the quote was, but procrastination stops momentum. I'm sorry, not procrastination. Perfection stops momentum, because he was saying that, he wanted his podcast to be a certain way. He wanted his food truck to be a certain way. And I was like, well, do you have your food truck? And he said, no. I was like, so I have a podcast studio. It's $50 to rent. So could you perhaps start your podcast at a dinner table? Like, do you have to be cooking the food on site? Because he was comparing it to all these bigger shows and stuff that's on YouTube. And, I think it's great to like aspire to want more, but also don't count yourself out by having to do it, by having to like have it perfect all the time. Like, that's just not how life works. Like, especially most of us are solopreneurs. We are self-funded. You might be funded on a credit card. You might have the in or know how to get grants and stuff like that. But nobody starts at perfect. Everybody starts somewhere. And I feel like that's always been my strong suit. I am by no means perfect. I do not know everything about business. I've watched and learned from many people's examples of what to do, of what not to do. My best friends are entrepreneurs, and I don't mean my best friends in like I know them personally, I talk to them, but those are always the people that I am going to gravitate to. It's entrepreneurs. I'm be like, I don't even have to talk to you for me to just like watch what you're doing and be like, okay, I like how they did that. I'm always like a fly on the wall, taking note of what I see. I like how this person presented themselves. And then I put my own unique spin on it. So yeah, I don't have too much to say, but I did want to hop on here because I was also thinking like, dang, I be in the car. I should just live stream. Like, I want to grow my YouTube channel, but I just be so busy in business. But everybody needs a community. And so if this short video helps somebody, then I hope that it does. Don't procrastinate. Don't try to be perfect. You're not perfect. We're not perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but it's going to be doable. And it's going to get better. It's going to progress over time. All right, I have reached my destination. Yeah, I be procrastinating in my car instead of going to where I need to go to where I'm at that point running to the bathroom. But we're going to stop procrastinating in 2026. And whatever we got in our head, we just going to go for it, because, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You could fail, but you could also build yourself back up. Like, as long as you got breath in your body, you have time to try, and try again, because you got one life to live. And so if you're not creating a life worth living, if you're not creating the life that you want to live, then what are you doing? And I think that it's a lot different when you're an entrepreneur. And I'm like, I've seen what the 9 to 5 life looks like. And I felt what the 9 to 5 life feels like. And so the life of being an entrepreneur feels a lot different. it's a different type of tired, but it's also like I get to wake up every day and create new streams of income for myself. I get to wake up every day and talk to different people. It's not mundane, it's not routine. And if this area of entrepreneurship gets a little I can focus my attention to another area of entrepreneurship. But this is Car Chats from Entrepreneur. Yeah.